It is often said that a mother's love for her daughter is a silent guardian, always watching over her well-being, guiding her through life's storms. Is that the case in Auntie Dee's story? Let's find out. Darlene, popularly called Auntie D, is the owner of a well-known restaurant in the vibrant city. The restaurant had a vibrant city. The restaurant had a vibrant signboard that read Did's Delight and had wooden chairs and tables arranged neatly for customers. She was a mother of three daughters and ran this restaurant, D's Delight, which was famous for its mouth-watering dishes and assorted meats. Two of her daughters, Mabel and Clara, had finished their secondary school, while Ruth, who is the youngest, was still in secondary school. The restaurant was the family's sole source of income, and Auntie D left no stone unturned in making sure her customers were always satisfied. The restaurant was always opened from morning till night, with the aromatic smell of grilled meat and spices wafting through the air, providing services from breakfast to dinner. To keep her business thriving, Auntie D resorted to a variety of tactics, the most notorious of which was her special service, as she always called it, that attracted numerous male customers. Men frequented her restaurant not only for the delicious meals, but also for the chance to spend the night with either of her elder daughters for a price. This secret service provided the family with substantial additional income, and Auntie D was very strict with her daughters about it. At first, when the daughters finished secondary school, they weren't happy with what their mom was introducing them to. And they told their mom, we don't like this. We want to go to school. My sister wants to be a lawyer, and I want to be a medical doctor. Now that we are through with school, we want to go to the university. Auntie D would always shout at her daughters, saying, how can you say you want to go to the university? I have tried my best in training you down to secondary school level. Is this not selfishness? You want me to keep spending money on your education when your father, who is supposed to be taking care of you, ran away when you were just 10 years old? I have tried my best. You are through with secondary school, so now is the time for you to start supporting my business. The eldest daughter would say to her mom, Mama, we can support your business by helping you cook and serve customers, not selling our bodies for money. Auntie D would not give an ear to that at all. It got to a time where she started starving her daughters at home because they refused to succumb to her request of satisfying her male customers, because they didn't want to be stubborn children or go against their mother's requests. They decided to do exactly what their mother said. Auntie D started using her daughters as business tools, counting money every morning in her small bedroom that had a single old chest for storing cash, because whenever the daughters returned from the male customers' houses, they always came back with huge amounts of money. She counted this money with so much joy, forgetting the dangers she was putting her daughters through or the possible sickness or disease the daughters were likely to get. Dear viewers, are there really mothers like this? Have you heard a story or come across a mother like this? Well, let's keep listening to this story. Most people believe the success of Auntie Dee's Delight was due to the exquisite food she made, unaware that the daughters' nightly company played a significant role. The daughters, appearing to relish their interactions with the customers every night, sometimes encouraged them to drink excessively and then took advantage of their intoxicated states to steal from them. Auntie D always encouraged her daughters to keep doing what they were doing. She always praised them. Ah, These are my daughters. You are making so much money for your mother. Don't worry. Tomorrow I will buy you beautiful clothes, beautiful and attractive ones. And I'll buy you some more hair and makeup so you can look more attractive. Thank you, my daughters. Can't you see we are making so much money? You know your mother will not deceive you. We are making money, and that is all that matters. The children would reluctantly nod in agreement to what their mother was saying, and they continued this lifestyle for a very long time, forgetting the fact that they wanted to go to school. Ruth, the youngest daughter of Auntie D, saw everything going on, and she said to her sisters, Sisters, I don't like this lifestyle you people are living. No, I'm not going to do this when I'm done with secondary school. Not knowing her mother overheard what Ruth was saying. She shouted from the background, Will you keep quiet? What do you mean by you don't like what they are doing? The money you have been feeding with and wearing good clothes with, you think I'm picking the money from the ground? Finish your secondary school and join your sisters. I don't have daughters for nothing. You have to work for the money. Ruth said, Mama, I don't think I'm going to do this. Auntie D yelled at Ruth, and she yelled at Ruth, and she angrily left the house that evening. One evening, while Auntie D and her daughters were attending to customers, a luxurious car parked in front of the restaurant, its shiny black paint reflecting the city lights. Auntie D and her daughters were astonished. Auntie D and her daughters were astonished. They had never seen such a wealthy customer before. A man in his mid-50s stepped out of the car, dressed in an expensive suit, and Auntie D wondered if he was lost. To her surprise, he walked in and requested a menu. Auntie D quietly said to her daughter, This man seems very wealthy. Opportunities like this are rare. Do whatever it takes to make him want to stay with you tonight. If he becomes a regular customer, we will make a lot of money. Her daughter responded with a smile. Don't worry, Mama. I've got this under control. He will be captivated by me, Clara assured her mother. Clara prepared the food with a confident smile, sprinkling some extra spices she reserved for special customers. She served the man. Here is your order, sir. And there's something extra that can help with digestion if you are interested, Clara said softly. Fleur said softly, flirting. The man focused more on her than the food. The man ate his meal, and after the meal, he approached Auntie D and her daughters to settle the bill. He handed Clara a generous sum of money. I know this is more than what I owe, but consider it a token of appreciating your beauty. I will come back tomorrow. Then I will take the extra digestion you said. Clara understood with a smile and responded to the man, Don't worry, sir. I'll be here tomorrow night, waiting for you. Auntie D was very excited about the huge amount of money this customer gave to Clara, and she said to Clara, Clara, you have to make sure you work hard when you follow him home tomorrow. This customer is rich, Clara said. Mama, don't worry. You know I always make you proud. The next day, Clara was feeling an unease in her spirit, and she said to her mother, Mama, I don't think I will follow that man home this night. I'm having an uneasy feeling about him. Don't worry, Mama. Maybe some other time I'll follow another customer. Auntie D yelled back at Clara. You dare not say that. Ever since we started this business, this is the richest customer so far. How can you say you don't want to follow him this night when he comes? Clara, I don't want to hear that. You better follow the man when he comes back. Claire responded, Mama, please. Anytime I think of the man coming to pick me this evening, My spirit is always not accepting it. My heart is always skipping. Let's just let go of this man. Auntie Dee was not ready to listen to whatever her daughter was saying, and she said, Clara, you must follow this man, and that is final. Because Clara wanted to respect her mother as usual, she reluctantly agreed to follow the man. That evening, the elderly man arrived with his luxurious car as usual, and he went straight to Auntie Dee, addressing her directly. I would like to spend some days in my house with your daughter. Auntie Dee was like, days? That will cost you a lot of money. And the man said, no problem. I have the money. I will pay as much as you want and even more. Auntie Dee, upon hearing that, agreed to his bidding without thinking twice. Who was this mysterious man? Was Clara's life in danger? Auntie Dee did not think of any of that. She pushed her daughter Clara into the man's car, telling her to make sure she behaves very well so they can get more money, and the man left with Clara. Auntie Dee did not suspect anything because the man already told her that Clara was going to be spending a lot of days with him. The next day, Mabel, Auntie Dee's other daughter, walked up to her mother and said, Mama, did you bother to call Clara to know if she arrived well or if she's okay where she is? Auntie Dee replied, Don't worry, Mabel. The man will take care of her. Mabel said to her mother, Mama, I think I'm pregnant. Please, Mama, what do I do? Auntie Dee said, What? You can't say that. How can you be pregnant? How are we going to make more money if you get pregnant? How are we going to make more money if you get pregnant? My friend, you better look for what to do with that. Don't tell me that kind of thing again. And she chased Mabel out of her presence, asking her to do whatever it takes to make sure they make more money, not getting pregnant. A few days later, Auntie Dee was sitting in her restaurant when she received a call from a stranger that her daughter, Mabel, was at the hospital and that she should run along to the hospital. When Auntie Dee got to the hospital, she saw her daughter's lifeless body lying on the floor and she asked the doctor, Doctor, what happened to my daughter? The doctor responded, Madam, she attempted to get rid of a pregnancy, and this is what the result turned out to be. Auntie Dee started crying. Oh no! I have led my daughter into killing herself. What do I do? Just as she was walking out of the hospital, she saw where a crowd had gathered. She wondered why the crowd was there. As she walked to the crowd to see what was going on, she saw her daughter's body, Clara, also on the floor. The crowd said a car came to drop Clara's lifeless body on the floor, that they had used Clara for ritual purposes. Auntie Dee was shattered. She was heartbroken. She had lost her two daughters in one day. She cried uncontrollably and blamed herself for everything. She said, Oh no, I have killed my daughters with my own hands. Oh no! She kept on crying. That was when it dawned on Auntie Dee that she had made a very big mistake. She said, I have failed my daughters as a mother. All I wanted was for them to have the best life, to have enough money. All the money they've been giving to me, I've been saving it for them. I guess I chose the wrong decision by sending them out. Oh no! And she cried. Ruth, the last daughter, upon hearing what had happened, was very angry with her mother. She said to her, Mama, I told you we don't need to sell ourselves. There are better ways to succeed, she said, and Auntie Dee apologized to Ruth. Please forgive me, my daughter. Everything I did was for you and your sisters. I didn't know it would turn out like this. And Auntie D closed down her restaurant completely and looked for other ways she could make money. After losing her two daughters, she wasn't ready to continue with that line of business again, and she focused more on taking Ruth through her education and became the better mother that she was supposed to be in the first place. Auntie D lived in regret for the rest of her life. This taught Auntie D valuable lessons about integrity, hard work, and the importance of making ethical choices. She learned that true success comes from honest efforts and that it is never too late to change one's path. This story teaches us a profound lesson. Taking shortcuts to success, especially those that compromise integrity and moral values, can lead to devastating consequences. True success is achieved through hard work, ethical choices, and a commitment to doing what is right. It reminds us of the importance of prioritizing our loved ones' well being over material gain and of the irreversible damage that can come from placing money above morality. Let this be a cautionary tale for all. Thank you for watching my channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please join us by clicking the subscribe button and turning on notifications so you won't miss out on more meaningful stories. Your support means the world to me. See you in my next video. Take care and stay inspired. Once upon a time, in a small African village wrapped in nature's embrace, lived a man named Kwam. Kwam was well respected in the village, known for his wisdom and kindness. He had a wife as beautiful as the morning sun and a son named Kofi, who was 10 years old. Kofi was the apple of his father's eye, a boy with a smile that could light up the darkest room. The village was surrounded by lush green fields, and the air was always filled with the sounds of chirping birds and distant drums. Every morning, the villagers gathered at the central square to exchange greetings and share news. In this village, where every sunrise brought new stories, Kwame made a big decision. He wanted to marry another wife. His first wife couldn't have more children, and in their village, having a big family was seen as a blessing. So, Kwame talked to his wife about it. She loved him and wanted him to be happy, so with a heavy heart, she agreed. Kwame chose Afia, a woman known for being kind and graceful. The whole village got excited. Kwame's getting married again. They all talked about it. Kofi's mother, even with a storm of mixed feelings brewing inside her, helped with the preparations. She made sure everything was just right, showing her love and respect for Kwam. On the wedding day, the village was full of music and bright colors. Drums sounded loud and strong, and people danced, their feet making patterns in the dirt. Afia looked really beautiful, like a queen, and Kofi's mother stood next to her, trying to hide her worries with a smile. The aroma of freshly prepared dishes, from spicy stews to roasted yams, filled the air as the celebration went on. Afia, the bride, stepped into Kwam's happy home like a gentle breeze. At first, Afia seemed like the kindest person. She smiled a lot, talked softly, and helped around the house. Kofi watched his new stepmother, curious and hopeful. Maybe, just maybe, this change is going to be good, he thought. Afia often joined Kofi and his mother in the evenings as they sat under the big baobab tree in their yard, listening to stories about their ancestors. But life in the village was about to take a turn, like a river that changes its course. Afia's true nature would soon reveal itself, changing the lives of Kwam, his wife, and little Kofi in ways they never expected. And so In this small village under the vast African sky, the story of Kofi and his stepmother began to unfold. Right after Afia's wedding, everything seemed quiet and peaceful. But this didn't last long. Afia, who had been nice at first, started showing a different side. She wasn't the kind person Kofi and his mother thought she was. Afia's voice changed. Where she used to speak softly, she now spoke in a mean and harsh way, especially to Kofi. Things that used to make her happy now made her angry. Kofi's mother, who always knew what to do, noticed this change. She took Kofi aside one day and said, "Stay away from Afia as much as you can. We don't want any trouble." Kofi didn't really get it. He asked, "Mother, you always tell me Afia is my second mother. Why stay away from her?" His mother, as wise as an owl, just smiled and then repeated, "Just don't get too close to her. Let's keep our peace, please, my son." Kofi didn't really understand, but he trusted his mother. Then a big problem happened. One day, while doing his everyday work, Kofi went to get water. He took Afia's special calabash, a pretty container adorned with intricate carvings. But something bad happened. On his way back, Kofi tripped on a stone he didn't see. The calabash fell and broke. Kofi felt very sad. When he got home, tears in his eyes, holding the broken calabash, Afia got very angry. She shouted a lot, saying things that hurt Kofi deeply. Hearing the noise, Kofi's mother came quickly. She tried to protect Kofi, but Afia was really mad. The home, which used to be full of laughter, now had a lot of anger in it. From then on, Afia became even meaner. She didn't like anything Kofi did and was always finding faults. Kofi, who was once happy and free, became careful and sad. Afia's bad treatment changed him. The people in the village didn't know about the problems in Kwom's house. Life went on as usual for them. But for Kofi, everything felt different. He missed the happy times with his mother's laughter. Those days felt like they were gone forever. In the middle of the village, where every home and tree had its own tale, something very sad happened in Kwom's house. Kofi's mother, who was always so strong and happy for her family, got very sick. The energy and joy she used to bring to their home faded away because of her illness. The village native doctor, a wise old man who knew a lot about plants and old healing ways, was called to help. He brought his bags filled with dried plants and special roots. He said prayers and mixed up his healing drinks. All the people in the village came together, hoping and praying for her to get better, hoping and praying for her to get better. But even with the native doctor's hard work, Kofi's mother got worse. Her bright eyes lost their shine, and the sound of her laughter, which once filled their house, was gone. Kofi felt so sad and helpless watching his mother grow weaker. Then, on a morning when the African sun was shining bright, Kofi's mother passed away. Everyone in the village felt sad for Kwame and Kofi. They cried with them, following their traditions. They held a big funeral with singing and dancing to celebrate her life and send her spirit off to the place of the ancestors. The funeral feast included bowls of steaming rice, fried plantains, and freshly brewed palm wine, a bittersweet moment for everyone. Kofi felt lonelier than ever. Their house, once so warm and full of life, now felt empty and cold. He missed his mother's advice and protection. Without her, Kofi felt even more at the mercy of Afia's mean ways. Kwaim was stuck between his sadness and his role as a husband. He didn't like how Afia treated Kofi, but his beliefs and the village's views about having more than one wife made things complicated for him. He knew he needed to do something, but he was torn between his love for his son and his duty as a husband. Afia didn't seem to care about the family's sadness and kept being mean to Kofi. Kofi, who used to be so lively and full of joy, now seemed like just a shadow of himself, always sad. During this time of sorrow and loss, life in the village went on, but for Kofi and Kwam, everything was different. They had to live without the woman who was their strength and light. This loss changed their lives, showing them how quickly happiness could break and how life could change in unexpected ways. Kwam, seeing how tired Kofi was every day, grew worried and asked, "Why does Kofi have to do all this by himself?" But Afia always had excuses. She would say Kofi is just being lazy. He needs to learn to work hard, all while touching her big belly to remind Kwame she was going to have a baby soon. Kwam grew more upset about how Afia treated Kofi. He thought long and hard. Just a few years after Fia gave birth to a beautiful baby girl, Kwame decided to marry another wife, as was the custom in their village. And so, Kwame got married again, this time to Ama. Ama was well known in the village for being very beautiful and having a kind heart. When Ama came to live in their house, it was like a cool, calming wind had entered their lives. Kofi, who was still very sad about losing his mother, watched Ama carefully at first. But he soon found that Ama was genuinely nice to him. Ama reminded Kofi of his own mother. She would spend time with Kofi, talk to him, and help him with work around the house. Little by little, Kofi started to feel better, as though Ama was helping him heal from his sadness. Ama even told Kofi stories about her own childhood, making him laugh for the first time in months. But then, things started to change. Ama, who had been so kind, started acting differently. She began treating Afia's little girl badly, just like Afia had treated Kofi before. She would send her on errands in the hot afternoon, make her wash clothes for both her and Kofi, and sometimes even refuse to give her food, telling her to go meet your wicked mother. Ama, who everyone thought was so kind, was now being mean, just like Afia had been. Afia, seeing how her daughter was being treated, felt very upset. She realized this was how she had made Kofi feel. It was hard for her to see her own daughter being treated so badly. She wanted to help her daughter, but didn't know how to make things better for their family. For Kofi, seeing this brought mixed feelings. On one hand, he thought it was fair for Afia to experience what it was like to be treated that way. But on the other hand, he felt sad because he knew how much it hurt to be treated badly, and he didn't like seeing another child go through that. This change brought many emotions into their home. Ama, who everyone thought would make things better, now made them wonder. Afia started to realize how much she had hurt Kofi before. Kofi, seeing all this, began to think deeply about forgiveness and what it meant to truly understand how others feel. Afia, seeing her daughter upset, couldn't take it anymore. She went to Kwame, shaking and upset, and asked him Why do you let Amma be so mean to our daughter? Tears filled her eyes. Quame, who usually didn't say much, looked at Afia and said something profound. Afia, you reap what you sow. What you did to Kofi has come back in a way you didn't expect. It's important to treat everyone with kindness, whether they are your own child or not. The way Amma is acting was to teach you a lesson, to show you how much you hurt Kofi. The room went quiet. Afia was shocked by what Kwam said. Then Kwame revealed something even bigger. He told her that he never really married Amma. This had all been a plan by the villagers. They had seen how harsh Afia had been to Kofi before and after his mother passed away. Together, they came up with the idea of bringing Amma into Kwam's home to show Afia the pain of her actions. Afia felt ashamed. She realized how badly she had treated Kofi. She looked at Kofi and saw him not just as a stepson, but as a child who had been deeply hurt by her actions. Afia felt truly sorry. She turned to Kofi and said softly, Kofi, I'm so sorry. I was wrong, mean, and I hurt you. I can't change what happened, but I promise to be better now. She cried as she said this, meaning every word. Then she spoke to Quame. Quame, I've caused so much trouble in our family. I'm really sorry for all the pain I've caused. Can you forgive me? She was truly remorseful and hoped to make things right in their family. After that, things in their family started to improve. Afia didn't just apologize, she began to act with kindness. She worked to fix her relationship with Kofi. Their home, once full of sadness and upset, slowly became a peaceful and happy place again. The people in the village saw the changes in Kwom's family and talked about it. The story of how Afia changed and became better spread around. It was a story about the power of saying sorry and forgiving. It showed that what we do can come back to us, and it taught the value of empathy, understanding, and sharing the feelings of others. Most importantly, it showed the power of forgiveness. Forgiving doesn't just free the person who did wrong, it frees the person who forgives. And so, in a small African village, a story of hardship turned into a story of hardship, turned into a story of healing. It reminded everyone that even when we make mistakes, there is always a chance to make things right, to learn, and to grow. This story, like the gentle river flowing by the village, carried a message of hope and the power of kindness. Thank you for joining us in exploring this heartfelt story of forgiveness and transformation. It's a reminder that even the toughest situations can lead to growth, understanding, and healing. If you enjoyed this tale, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for more stories filled with lessons and inspiration. Until next time, stay kind and stay hopeful. Prince Adisa, worried, went back to the palace and called out, Nia. He asked her about the cooking test and if there was something she hadn't told him. At first, Naya was quiet. She wanted to deny it but couldn't. She knew, after all, that keeping the secret would not help her or the kingdom. Once upon a time, in a kingdom bathed in African sun, there lived a king named Zuberi. His realm was a tapestry of vibrant cultures and traditions, where colorful markets filled the air with the scents of spices, and musicians played drums that resonated through the hills. The king had a son, Adisa. Prince Adisa was famous in the kingdom. Every girl dreamed of marrying him because he was kind and very handsome, with a deep, melodic voice that could soothe any heart. As time turned its pages, King Zuberi grew older, and one day he called Prince Adisa to his side in the grand hall of the palace, its walls adorned with intricate carvings and golden tapestries. "My son," he said, "the crown needs a queen. It's time for you to marry. In our land, to be crowned the king, one must first find a heart to share it with, that is, have a queen." Prince Adisa, wise beyond his 25 years, understood the weight of his father's words. In the village, there were many beautiful maidens, but he knew that beauty isn't just what the eyes can see, it's also what the heart can feel. Prince Adisa wanted a wife who was kind and good, not just pretty. He thought deeply. Then an idea sparked in his mind. "Let's have a test for the girls," he said. "The best one will be my queen." In the same kingdom lived two friends, Nia and Safiya. They were like morning and evening stars, different but equally beautiful. Nia had hair that flowed like a dark river, while Safiya's eyes sparkled like the morning dew. They were like sisters, always together, and everyone said they were the most beautiful girls in the village. When Nia and Safiya heard about Prince Adisa's test, they were excited. "I wonder what the test will be," they thought. They decided to help each other no matter what. On the day of the announcement, the village gathered in a burst of color and excitement. Maidens, like flowers in bloom, adorned themselves in their finest attire. Among them, Naya and Safiya shone like the brightest stars in the darkest stars, in the darkest stars in the darkest night. As Prince Adisa stepped forward, the air hushed. His voice rolled over the crowd like gentle waves, announcing the test. "There will be three parts to this test," he said. "First is a dancing competition, second is a cooking contest, and the last one is a surprise test." The girls' hearts beat fast. They were all dreaming of becoming the queen. Naya and Safiya hoped one of them would win, but they were also happy for each other. So in this kingdom, a story of friendship, dreams, and a search for a true-hearted queen began. The big day arrived in the kingdom. It was the day of Prince Adisa's test for the maidens. The village was buzzing with excitement. Everyone headed to the palace where the test would happen. The girls, all dressed in their most beautiful clothes, were ready for the first part of the test, the dance competition. Prince Adisa had planned 3 tests in total, but today was all about dancing. Naya and Safiya were among the girls. They both loved to dance and had practiced a lot in the moonlit clearing behind their homes. When their turn came, they danced like never before. Their moves were smooth and graceful, as if they were carried by the wind. Everyone watching was amazed. Even Prince Adisa couldn't help but give them a standing ovation. As the dance ended, the air was thick with applause. Prince Adisa and the judges talked and then announced the 7 girls who did the best. Both Naya and Safiya were chosen. They were so happy and hugged each other, their laughter ringing out like a sweet melody. That night, as everyone went back home, talking about the dance at Safiya's house, her mother was thinking something different. She saw beautiful beads and was quite wealthy. So she thought, if Safiya could pass all the tests and become the queen, she would become the supplier of beads to the palace, thereby making more money and becoming richer. That night, she called Safiya and told her, "You must find every possible way to win this test just for yourself, even if it requires betraying your best friend Naya. Remember, she's now a rival and not a friend anymore. If you become the queen, we can sell our beads to the palace and become richer. She wanted Sophia to be the queen for her own reasons. Sophia listened, her heart torn, but didn't think like her mother. Though she loved her mother, she never expected such a selfish thought from her. Her friendship with Nia was a bond she cherished deeply. She couldn't sleep that night. She loved her friend Naya and was happy they both did well in the dance, but little did she know that things were starting to get complicated. Naya, though innocent, had a secret plan for the next test that would be taking place the following day. So, in the kingdom, after a day of beautiful dances, the test was just beginning. Nia and Safia, still friends, were both moving on to the next part of the test, not knowing what was coming next. The next day in the kingdom was all about cooking. The girls who did well in the dance were now going to cook for Prince Adisa. It was the second part of the test to find the queen. The girls all brought their best dishes to the palace. They had cooked their favorite meals, hoping to impress the prince. Nia and Safia were both nervous but excited. When the time came, the dishes were presented to Prince Adisa. The air was thick with the scents of spices and herbs, stories told on plates. One by one, the prince tasted the dishes, his expressions unreadable, like a book with its pages closed. Then came Nia's turn. Nia made a special dish, one her mother had taught her. It was a secret recipe, full of flavor and made with love. She presented her food to Prince Adisa. In that moment, something shifted. Prince Adisa's eyes met Nia's, and a connection sparked. The prince tasted her dish, and something amazing happened. He loved it so much that he stopped the competition right there. "This is the best dish I have ever tasted," he said. "I have found my queen." Everyone was surprised. There were whispers about Naya's cooking. Some said it was like magic, but most people in the village were happy. If Prince Adisa was happy, they were happy. Nia was taken to the palace. She was going to be the future queen. Everyone in the palace loved her. She was respectful to the royal family and honored her husband, the prince, but things weren't the same outside the palace. Her friendship with Safia wasn't the same anymore. Nia started to change. She was busy with her new life in the palace, and Safia felt left out. Whenever Safia came to visit, Nia would tell the guards to say she was not around. She started avoiding Safia, and now felt on top of the world as the future queen of the kingdom. As Nia started her new life in the palace, the friendship between her and Safia began to face new challenges. The test had brought a big change, and no one knew what would happen next. Time went by in the kingdom, and things started to change. Nia, now living in the palace, began to act differently. She was no longer the girl everyone knew. She started to feel very important and didn't spend time with Safia or the other villagers anymore. She was too busy being the future queen. But then something sad happened. King Zubiri, Prince Adisa's father, passed away. It was a big loss for the kingdom. Everyone was sad, and now Prince Adisa was to be the king. And Nia would also be crowned the queen. However, according to the tradition of the land, for Naya to be crowned alongside Prince Adisa as the new queen, there was one more test. Nia needed to have a child in order to be crowned the queen. But as time passed, she couldn't have a baby. This worried her and Prince Adisa a lot. Prince Adisa, desperate to find out why they couldn't have a child, went to see the village priest one hot afternoon. The priest was wise and knew many things. After talking to Prince Adisa, the priest said something shocking. He said there was a dark secret about the cooking test, that Naya had done something evil. She had cheated. Prince Adisa, worried, went back to the palace and called out, Nia. He asked her about the cooking test and if there was something she hadn't told him. At first, Naya was quiet. She wanted to deny it, but she couldn't. She knew, after all, that keeping the secret would not help her or the kingdom. So then she told the truth. She confessed that she had used a love potion in her dish. That's why the prince had picked her. She told the prince that the night before the cooking contest, she overheard Safia and her mother planning to find every possible way to win the quest to become the queen. So she thought she had to act fast. She then went to an herbalist who gave her the love potion that she used in her meal. After the prince tasted it, he had no choice but to fall in love with her. When the people in the kingdom heard about this, they were very surprised. No one expected Naya to do something like that. It was a big shock, and everyone talked about it. Nia's secret changed how people saw her. She was no longer the admired future queen. Now she was someone who had cheated to win. After the big secret was out, Naya had to leave the palace. She was no longer going to be the queen. Prince Adisa was very sad about all this. He felt heartbroken, but he also learned a lot from it. Then Prince Adisa started to see Safia in a new way. He noticed how kind and honest she was. Safia had always been there with her true heart and caring spirit. So Prince Adisa decided to ask Safia if she would marry him and become the queen. Safia was surprised but also very happy. She had always liked Prince Adisa. She saw how good he was and knew he would be a great king. So she said yes to his proposal. Not long after, they got married. Safia had a baby. This was a happy time in the kingdom. Everyone was glad that the prince had found a true queen, someone who loved him and the people. With Prince Adisa and Queen Safia ruling, the kingdom became a better place. They led with love and honesty. They cared about the people and always tried to do what was right. Under their rule, the kingdom grew stronger and happier. The people loved their king and queen because they were fair and kind. Safia showed everyone what it really means to be a queen. It's not just about being pretty or living in a palace. It's about having a good heart and caring for others. And so the kingdom flourished, filled with love and joy. Prince Adisa and Queen Safia's story was told for many years. They were remembered as the king and queen who brought happiness and peace to their land. The story of Prince Adisa, Nia, and Safia teaches us several important moral lessons. It shows that true beauty and worth lie not just in physical appearance, but in one's character and actions. Naya's fall from grace highlights the dangers of deceit and the emptiness of pride, while Safia's rise to queen illustrates the power of honesty, loyalty, and a genuine heart. The story also teaches that seeking personal gain at the cost of others leads to downfall, and that true leadership is rooted in love, honesty, and respect for others. Ultimately, the tale reminds us that virtues like integrity, kindness, and humility are the real qualities that make someone worthy of admiration and respect. Thank you for watching and being a part of this magical journey. The tale of Prince Adiza, Nia, and Safia reminds us of the timeless values of honesty, kindness, and integrity. Let their story inspire you to embrace these virtues in your own life. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to join us for more heartwarming stories filled with lessons and joy. See you in the next adventure.